What happens when a film gets banned on its very first day? Imagine the scene, The Passion, a film wrapped in layers of anticipation, hits a wall of controversy as soon as the curtains rise. Directed by a visionary known for pushing boundaries, this film was expected to be a cinematic tour de force, exploring deep, provocative themes. However, before audiences could even settle into their seats, The Passion found itself at the heart of a fiery debate. Certain groups, fiercely protective of public decency, raised their voices against what they perceived as offensive content. They argued that the film's portrayal of sensitive subjects crossed lines that should not be crossed, sparking a whirlwind of contention. The authorities pressed by these groups made a swift and stunning decision to ban the film, citing concerns over the potential disruption of societal norms and values. This move left both the film industry and the audience in a state of shock. Now let's delve into what led to this drastic decision. Every story has a beginning. For The Passion, the beginning was surprisingly tumultuous. As the promotional campaign for The Passion kicked off, it was clear that the film was destined to stir up a storm. The movie, a bold cinematic venture, was shrouded in both mystery and anticipation. Film enthusiasts, always eager for something that pushes the envelope, were abuzz with excitement. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions and predictions, dissecting every teaser and trailer released. The film's daring themes and aesthetic choices promised an experience that was not just a movie, but a statement. However, not everyone was on board with this enthusiasm. From the moment the first trailer dropped, conservative groups raised their eyebrows. The film, with its edgy content and provocative themes, seemed to challenge the very norms they stood by. Concerns were voiced about the potential impact of the film on public morality and decency. Debates erupted on television talk shows and online forums, with various groups arguing about the boundaries of artistic freedom and societal values. What specifically sparked the debate? It was the film's unapologetic portrayal of its themes, which included complex narratives about identity, freedom, and resistance. These were interspersed with visual and narrative elements that some found to be too bold, perhaps even incendiary. The film did not shy away from exploring these in depth, setting the stage for a cultural showdown. The promotional phase thus turned into a battleground of ideologies, with The Passion at its center. Every interview with the filmmakers, every release snippet of the movie added fuel to the already blazing fire. The discussions weren't just confined to the potential audience, they spilled over into everyday conversations, becoming a topic of national discourse. As the release date approached, tensions heightened. The stage was set, the players were ready, and the curtains were about to be drawn on one of the most controversial cinematic events in recent history. Release day should be a celebration, but for The Passion, it was anything but. The morning buzzed with anticipation as theaters opened their doors for the early screenings. Little did anyone know, within hours the atmosphere would shift dramatically. As the first viewers emerged, whispers of discontent began to ripple through the crowds. The film, daring and unapologetic in its portrayal of sensitive themes, struck a nerve. Some audience members praised its boldness, while others recoiled, finding it too provocative. The divide was immediate and palpable, but it was when these personal reactions spilled over onto social media that the situation escalated. Tweets flew fast, hashtags sprang up like wildfire, and soon The Passion was trending. But not for reasons the creators had hoped. Advocacy groups, having caught wind of the content, began to mobilize. Statements were issued calling the film an affront to public decency, and petitions for its ban started circulating online. As the day wore on, the fervor only intensified. Videos of protests outside cinemas, some peaceful, others teetering on the edge of chaos, were shared across platforms, painting a stark picture of a community at odds. This digital uproar reached the ears of authorities faster than any formal complaint could have. By evening, the tension was palpable. Theater managers reported uneasy audiences and heightened security concerns. The day had started with the promise of artistic triumph, but was marred by controversy and conflict. By the end of the day, the authorities had to make a call. Decisions often come with heavy consequences. When the authorities faced the release of The Passion, a film that pushed the boundaries of public decency, their response was swift and decisive. The decision to ban the film wasn't taken lightly. It involved a complex interplay of governmental and regulatory bodies, each weighing the implications of allowing such a controversial piece to be publicly shown. The primary concern centered around the film's content, which some viewed as a direct challenge to societal norms and values. The regulatory bodies tasked with upholding public decency laws found that the film's explicit scenes and provocative themes crossed the line from artistic expression into potential public offense. They argued that while creativity should be nurtured, it should not come at the expense of community standards. In their deliberations, these bodies consulted various stakeholders, including community leaders, legal experts, and even psychologists, to gauge the potential impact of the film on different audience segments. The consensus was clear. The risk of disturbing public order and offending moral sensibilities was too high. Legal precedents played a crucial role as well. Previous cases where content had been restricted on similar grounds provided a legal framework for the decision. The authorities were keenly aware of the balance between freedom of expression and public decency, but in this case they deemed the scales tipped towards the latter. Thus, the film was banned, a decision met not with silence, but with a cascade of reactions. The ban was just the beginning of a larger story. When a film gets banned, who speaks up and who stays silent? The uproar following the ban of The Passion was as varied as it was vocal. Filmmakers, actors, critics, and the general public each had their own take on the sudden removal from theaters. From the filmmakers' corner, the reaction was one of dismay and defiance. The director, known for her audacious storytelling, argued that the ban was a gross infringement on artistic expression. She reminded us that art often challenges and provokes, aiming to push boundaries and encourage discourse. Actors from the film shared mixed feelings. While some expressed solidarity with the director, advocating for the unfiltered portrayal of their artistic work, others were more reticent, wary of the potential backlash and the broader implications it might have on their careers. One supporting actor mentioned, "It's a delicate balance navigating between personal expression and public sentiment." Critics were perhaps the most divided group. Some lauded the film as a courageous piece that tackles taboo subjects with boldness, calling the ban a step back for creative freedom. Others, however, sided with the decision, suggesting that the film perhaps ventured too far, crossing lines that were best left intact. A notable critic pointed out, "There's a fine line between provocation and offense, and it's essential we recognize where one ends and the other begins." The general public's reaction was a whirlwind of opinions, flooding social media platforms and online forums. Supporters of the ban cited concerns over public decency and the potential negative impact on certain segments of the audience. In contrast, opponents of the ban saw it as a dangerous precedent for censorship, fearing what it might mean for future artistic works. "Are we stepping into an era of artistic restraint?" one tweet read, highlighting the anxiety and uncertainty felt by many. As the debates raged on, one thing became clear. The conversation around The Passion was igniting discussions far beyond the confines of cinema. The debate was far from over. The dust settles, but the conversations continue. In the wake of the ban on The Passion, the film industry found itself at a critical juncture. The decision ignited a series of legal battles that tested the boundaries of artistic freedom and censorship. Filmmakers and legal experts alike plunged into debates over what constitutes public decency and where the line should be drawn. One of the more significant outcomes was a lawsuit filed by the production company against the censorship board. The argument was that the ban infringed on artistic expression protected under the Constitution. Courts oscillated between upholding the ban to protect cultural sensibilities and defending free speech. The legal tussle highlighted a broader societal dilemma about balancing morality with creativity. Public debates flourished in various forums, from television panels to online blogs. Critics argued the film was a necessary provocation that challenged societal norms, while opponents saw it as an affront to public decency. This dichotomy split the public into factions, each holding steadfast to their viewpoints. In response to the uproar, some regions reviewed and revised their censorship policies. A trend towards more transparent criteria emerged, aiming to provide clearer guidelines for creators and censors alike. This policy shift was partly an acknowledgement that vague standards lead to unpredictable outcomes, which neither serve the interests of art nor the sensibilities of the audience. The ban on the passion also had a chilling effect on filmmakers. The fear of similar repercussions led to self-censorship. Many opted for safer themes, while others pushed the envelope, hoping to provoke discussion or change. The incident thus served as both a cautionary tale and a rallying cry, depending on one's perspective. Reflecting on the broader impact, the ban undeniably left its mark on the film industry. It sparked a vital dialogue about the interaction between art and law, a discussion that continues to evolve with each controversial project. Did the passion change the landscape of film and freedom? The answer lies in the ongoing debate that questions, challenges, and redefines the limits of expression in the cinematic world. Now we turn the lens back to you. In the fabric of cinematic history, controversies like the one surrounding the passion weave complex patterns, challenging us to confront our principles and prejudices. As we've seen, the intersection where artistic freedom collides with public decency is fraught with tension and tough choices. This is a crossroads of cultural values and legal boundaries, where every decision can set a precedent influencing not just the present, but the future of filmmaking. Consider the delicate balance filmmakers must maintain, crafting stories that push boundaries without overstepping. Reflect on the role of authorities who, in their bid to protect society, decide the limits of what can be shown on screen, and then think about us, the audience, whose diverse tastes and moral compasses add yet another layer of complexity. What role should censorship play in the arts? Should it act as a guardian of morality or a suppressor of creative expression? What do you think? Is there a clear line between artistic expression and public decency?